Hello, welcome. We continue our tutorials about blockchain and how to implement a full functional blockchain, but for education purposes, not for production or commercial purposes. We know that blockchain is a record of all the transactions on the network, and this record must be put on trusted nodes. We are creating a blockchain. We are creating the first node. So in this video we are going to create the first node in the network. First, we have to change some of the previous code, the previous tutorial's code. We have to change some of the content of the code, so it will be easy to use it in the node. Okay, because today we are going to make a web-based node. We are going to make a node web-based. So to be compatible with web, we have to change the code a little bit. So first we have to remove this transaction. But if we remove the transaction from here, we have to add it in the blockchain. Okay, so we create transaction. Okay, here we create a transaction, but it will be just different definition. Okay, we have to pass the from address and to address and amount to be transferred. Okay, then we append a transaction to the current pending transaction. So we call the pending transactions and we append, but this time we will not append just a list. We append a dictionary. So we append a dictionary. We put the key from address. Sorry, we have to make sure that everything is fine. And to from address, we take the from address that passed to the function, and also to address, and also we have to make or to put the parameter that passed to the function, and finally the amount. We also have to take the amount that passed to the function. Okay, so it's good. We finished it. We have changed the create transaction as we append a complete transaction from here. We pass the transaction data to the create transaction, but this time it is not different class or separate class, but instead it's a function inside the blockchain class. We return back to top and we change the block a little bit, so we have to add the nonce. We add nonce again. Why? Because we need to pass a dictionary to the block or the block constructor. We need to pass a dictionary, but we cannot pass a dictionary when we will return another dictionary from the function. We want to pass the same parameters and return the same parameters. So we have to add all the parameters here. So we have to add the nonce, and also we have to add the hash value at the end. And also we have to define the hash as empty also. Now we have changed the nonce and t-stamp and transactions list and the previous hash, but here we will not calculate every time we calculate the hash, but if we passed the hash already calculated, so if hash doesn't equal, I know maybe this word is reserved word, but it's okay, it is going to change it, the compiler will change it with the hash value that passed to the constructor function, okay, or the constructor method. So if hash equals empty string, this means that it has not been calculated, it is not calculated, so we have to calculate it. But else we don't have to calculate it, so we pass it directly to the self dot hash equal hash, and that's it. Here also this is okay, no problem, but for the and also mining no problem, but for the we don't need to return a string from the class, we need to return a dictionary. So we change this with to dictionary, just for simplicity we will call it to dict, and also we pass the self to it, okay, and for the function we return directly, we return the dictionary like that. Nonce value, which is going to be the self dot nonce, and t-stamp is going to be the string of the t-stamp, self dot t-stamp, t-stamp, and also transactions list, we pass the self dot transactions list, and for the previous hash we pass self dot previous hash, and for the hash itself we pass the self dot hash. And now we can return a dictionary from the function. We can now return a dictionary. We return a dictionary from the function or the block. So we return a dictionary. We pass a dictionary, and we will see now how to pass a dictionary to the function or to the constructor of the class, and how to return back a dictionary too. So I have to remove this line. Now is okay, and we return back to the blockchain. Here we don't need to generate Genesis block, we will generate it right now here, and we also, after difficulty, we called generate Genesis. This maybe we called it with or self. I'm sorry, I've been mixed with Java something. Generate Genesis block. This time we changed the syntax of Genesis block, because as we said, we need a block, but the block will take a dictionary. So how to do that? It is easy, it is straightforward. We assign a dictionary, It's called the dictionary, just for simplicity. And this dictionary contains values like nonce. We will just put something empty. Nonce is 0, and the T stamp, and we put the date. For example, any date is okay, 02/02/2017. That's fine, no problem. And also for the transactions, we have to put some transactions here, but we will not put real transactions list. Take care of the name. We here we put some transactions like it is list of transactions, so we have to make these two brackets, and we put the from address none, because we need it empty, and to address also none, and the amount is also 0. Okay, and we have to add the hash value. We have to add the hash value after that, after the dictionary. After the dictionary, I think. Yes, we have to make this a dictionary list. I mean many dictionary items. And for okay, we start with the dictionary, and here I think here is the best place to do that. Yes, here we put the hash value. Dump hash value is okay. Empty hash value is okay. The dictionary, I have to pass the dictionary to the function. How to do that? We do it simply by defining a block, is called block, and we pass like that. Mapping, we do mapping to the dictionary, and the mapping passes the keywords, the keys of the nonce. These keys, it takes these values and pass it to the dictionary constructor. So we created a block right now, so we can return the block, but we will not return actually we will not return the block itself. Instead we return the dictionary of the block, and that's the key of this. So we deal everything with dictionary to make the life simple. We don't want to make it complicated. We make it very simple to be able to deal with it with web-based web-based interface. Okay. Okay, get last block. I think get last block also needs some we can say block of. We can double star it, so it's a dictionary, last item of the dictionary, so we pass it to the block and we get the last block. We want the block itself, so we don't need the dictionary. Instead we need the block itself. We have to return the block itself. Okay, for the mine pending transaction, we don't have too much to change here, but we need to pass the nonce value and string of this value. We cannot use the time itself or the timestamp itself. Okay, and now okay, pending transactions. We don't need to pass the hash values because it's set by default, the previous hash, and we don't need to pass the hash values because it has a default value, so we'll keep it in the default value. Okay, I think that's okay. Yes. Okay, so now we have a block to mine, but before mining this block we have to make the previous, we will take the previous block's hash value, so we have to return we will use this one because we forgot it last video. We have to fix this, so we say okay, I think we have to make it like that, block dot previous hash equal the get last block dot hash. Yes, we get the last block's hash, we put it in the oh yes, that's correct. We take the previous the current, we will take the previous block, we take the hash value of the previous block and we put in the current block's previous hash. Yes, that's correct. And also for mining block, yes, everything is fine. And here for the append block, before appending this block, we have to call our to-dictionary. We append the dictionary, we don't append the block. In the chain, it contains a list of dictionary, values. So this one contains a list of dictionary values. Don't remember this, remember it because we will need it too. Okay, and now for the pending transactions we have to change this to something like that. I don't know, maybe this is not needed at all, and we pass we just write the keywords. So nonce, the first one is nonce, yes, we put it 0, and no, it's a transaction, so it has from address value is none because it is from address. From address is none because it takes it, this is a reward, so it is not obtained from any user or any node on the network. It is obtained from the server, the system itself, so it has no from address. It has the current mining address, the current node's address, so to address will be the current node's address. And also the final one is the mining reward, so amount is the mining reward. That's we doing all of this because we need to pass we need to pass a list of dictionaries. A list of pending transactions value will be a list of the dictionary values. Okay. Okay. Create transaction has been done, and for the calculate balance we return to this soon. We check get balance. Okay, for the valid value here we check if it is valid or not, so we need only to make this one like that. Only we do that like that. We do not need to do anything else, just that. we make dictionary. We have to return the dictionary value, so we have to do it like that. And I think the remaining are the same. Yes, there is no change. Here for the get balance is little different. It's going to be little different because balance is 0, and because balance will be changed because we are iterating on a list of dictionary values. It's many dictionary values, okay, and not values but many dictionaries inside the list. So we have to find a good way to iterate on the list of dictionaries. So we define the index but here it must be a range. Yes, we take a range of self.chain. Okay, length of self.chain, and for the next we take a dictionary list. From here we take a dictionary list, dict list. We call it dict list for the simplicity of the name. We take that B is not, we call it I or index. I think it's better to say it index, chain of index. So we obtained the specific dictionary at that location, and we get the most important thing that contains from address and to address is the transactions list, the transactions list. So we obtained the dictionary list of the transactions list. It contains, as we said, it is a list of transactions in the form of dictionary. So we obtained it right now, so it is easy and straightforward. For the remaining, we can say for dictionary dict, no need, just dict, for dict in dict list, that's it. If dict to address equal the address, so we sum up to address. If it is to address, we sum up. If to address means that it is moved from your wallet, so it is to address. You move it to another wallet. To address will be we subtract or add. It is money to address. Yes, your address is to address, so you have money, you got money, so it is plus like that. And for the next one is dict from address. If the from address is equal the current address, so we are calculating the balance. It is subtracted. I think we have a mistake last time in this, but we didn't use it, so we didn't check the logic error. This is a logic error, so we will not know if it is arises or not. Even if we run the program, the program will run smoothly because we made plus equal in the two transactions or the two iterations. So the calculations is not correct, but the program logic is correct. So we have to use the program, run the program, and then calculate the balance for a specific address to check such error. But now we need to run our program and check if it is running or not. In this time we will not use the create transaction. We create the transaction like that, but it takes values. Yes, takes values like that. Takes the values here. Yes, we pass the values immediately. Starting mining and mine pending. Okay. Get balance. Okay. We remove these lines for now, and we want to check if the balance is true or not. So we need to check if the chain is valid chain or not. So we can call that dot is validated chain, or I don't know, is chain valid, dot is chain valid. Okay, now we run our program to check if the correctness that we have made is okay or not. We have an invalid syntax error here in line 24, so we have it here after the transactions list. Yeah, transactions list. Okay, yes, here T stamp. No, yes, here, yes, I see. We didn't close the bracket here, so we go to line 24. Yes, and we have to close this bracket. Okay, continue debugging process. Another invalid syntax here in line 24. Line 24. There's line 24, and close the brackets. That's correct, and the transaction list, and we don't need this. We don't need this. Okay. And we run it again. That we make sure that okay, and still have a syntax error. Many syntax errors here. What's the problem with this? Yes, this must be comma. So it is line 34. This must be comma. Yes. Check if we have another mistake here. Okay. Okay, no problem. Yes. Dictionary has no amount value. Amount. Dictionary has no amount value, so we have to check if it is exist amount. So the transaction of 0.amount. Okay, we have to return back to the first lines of the code here. Sorry, we didn't change this. We can take all the transactions in the calculations of the hash function. We remove the first value. We take all the transactions in the hash hash calculation process. Okay. I wish we don't have get last block is not defined. Get last block. We return to get last block at 41, where we return to get last block. Get last block. Get last self dot, I'm sorry, self dot get last block. Yeah. Make sure that syntax is okay, and we continue our debugging process. I think we take too much time to make this. Okay, list index of out of range and line. So the problem is that I have to append the dictionary here, not returning the dictionary, but we have to append it to the list or the chain list. We have to append the dictionary to the list. So self dot chain dot append. It was saying out of index out of range, but just because index out of range, there is nothing in the chain. It is empty. So when he calls -1, he call out of range. So we have when we generate Genesis blocks, so we have to append the dictionary to the block. So we have at least one block in the chain when we call the get last block. So that was the problem. So we have to append it here because we call it here. So we append it directly to the we call it directly. So we have to append the block, the Genesis block. We have to append it to the chain. That was the problem. So we make sure that the block is a dictionary. So we take the dictionary back, and because we need to calculate the hash value, we pass it to the block here. We pass it to the block here because we need to calculate the hash value inside, and then we append it to the dictionary. Okay, now we still have to check if we are going well or not. Okay, finally it worked. So the block is mined, and the block number here, the hash value starts with 3 zeros. This is the difficulty, and I got a reward of 100. The miner balance is 0 because we just made only one transaction. We only mined once. We only mined just once. We mined only once, so we got 100. The 100 will appear in the first will appear in the next mining process, because we got a transaction and the transaction is in the waiting list. Okay, let's start the main important part of our article today. The part is about the Flask. We have an application called the Flask. Okay, so we have to go up and import it. We have to go up and import the Flask values, the Flask headers or the Flask packages. So we call from Flask, we import Flask. Okay, we also need some other packages from Flask. It's called like this one, JSONify. JSONify, we need it. Okay, and now it is okay. Also, I think we need time. Okay, for timestamp, and that's okay. If we need something, we return back to it. And the Flask is an application. It's a package that help Python to make some web-based applications. It is a micro one. It is for just simple applications. So I use the Flask to do that. Anyway, if you didn't install Flask, you can install it by the command Python -m pip install -u, and we call it the Flask package, and you press enter. Here I don't know if it will reinstall it again, but it is already the computer found the Flask already up to date, so it doesn't need to install it again. But anyway, if you didn't install it, you have to install it first by calling this command. If it is installed, okay, so we can continue our making or our coding. So we Flask with the same name of the current file, just giving a Flask application a name, okay. And for the Flask, it defines the website links. It defines the website links. We will define for now, I think we need at least four links here. So app.route, and this is for mine, and the method, it's called the methods equal mine. We make mining process, so we have to take a feedback, so we say get to get a feedback if you know some knowledge or background about HTML. So this one will be get method. Okay, we define them, and then we define the internal, the contents of it. App.route, another link. For the transactions, if we use double quotes, single quotes, they are all okay. As you know, in Python there is no problem. Transactions/new. But this one is from client, from outside client. This is the server. We are on the current server, so this one will not be get. Instead, it will be post. Yes, it will be post. Okay, we need another one for this link for mining process, and this is for adding new transaction, and the transaction will be from the client, from another client, or the user with the wallet from other address. So this is a post, okay. And we need another one for the chain, to display the chain. I think we can make this today. We will make the chain, and also this is a get method. Okay, and the last one is the main page. I'm sorry, here we have to run route. Here also route for the main. Okay, and we start defining methods inside. We define methods. For example, we call this mine method, and we return just text. Just like that, we are going to mine the block with new transactions here. Just a message, and then in the next videos we are going to implement everything here. And we define a new transactions new transactions. New transaction. Okay. And for the new transaction, it is a post, so we receive data. So just make it for now empty. And we define a method for the chain. This we will define it right now. We define a full called display full chain. Display full chain. Okay. This we will use the response, and if you know some HTTP, you will be familiar with. We defined the chain here, that one. In the next videos we will change this to chain, blockchain, because it is already not the currency, but it is a blockchain itself. So the chain we B chain, or yes, we copy it, dot chain, and length of the chain, length of dot chain. Okay, and we have to return this response, but we cannot display it directly. We have to just unify it. We use JSON library to make it, to pass it to the web page. So we need to write just 200s. Okay, and for the main we define hello. We will just do all of this again. We just need to check if the server is not running or not. Hello, you are in the main page of this node. Okay, you are in the main page of this node. So this is the server of this node. This is the first node in the network. Okay, and to run the application, we have to check if we will need this if we want to make a package. So main, we can test our application dot run run. We call it app. Yes, app here, that app. Okay, I check if it's something missing. Okay, because it doesn't call the run immediately. I think we are done. Okay, let's test our okay, here. Yes, I'm sorry, I have here a problem. This one we have to return. Yes, finally our server is running now. To access it, we can go to the HTTP, this link. We can just use Ctrl+C to press it directly. So we are on the web base of the first, the web page or the website of the first node in the network. We can check if the others are running or not. So we can check, for example, mine. Yes, we are going to mine the block here. And what about the chain? I think it will work with us to display the full chain. Yes, it display the full chain, but it is not in organized form. But anyway, you can handle this. We have 2 blocks here. We mine 2 blocks. 2 blocks here are mined, and that's for the chain. So now we have a running node. This is the first node of the of our blockchain, and we are implementing the first node. That exactly what happened before when they think about implementing blockchain and cryptocurrency. They first make the first node in the network. The first node contains the chain or a genesis block, and then the first transactions in the chain. The first transactions in the for the cryptocurrency. So now after mining multiple times, we can get some rewards here, and the rewards we can transfer it to users and or sell it to users, and the users can exchange it. And we successfully defined how to make a node in the blockchain nodes. These nodes need a processing power, needs a processing power, and high processing power, and also needs storage for storing the entire chain. But for now we are in the beginning, so there is no need. But if we make the difficulty higher than 3, make it 5 or 6 or 7, the mining process will take long time. So we are on the server. This is exactly what happened when the cryptocurrency are implemented. And thank you for be patient with me in this time. I know we have fixed the code, all the code again. We returned it again, and but we finally succeeded to make the node running on a web page. And thank you, and wait